best, but The Rock never stops. I didn't get a chance to check out the Pistons game. It was on Peacock and NBC. I had a long day at work. I didn't feel like figuring out all that extra stuff. I'm gonna check it out tomorrow when it's available on League Pass, and I'm gonna do a detailed review afterwards. But it looks like they got their mouth kicked in. Um, so we gonna talk about it. You already know. But I also got to give love to the squads that are actually out there doing work, doing absolute work. VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey are here, y'all. Are here. What they were able to do against one of the better, more defensive, lengthy, physical, high defensive IQ backcourts and teams in the NBA against the Orlando Magic, what they were able to do was absolutely, I'm not going to say all striking, but it was something that I had to step back and I had to say, oh, they're here. They're here. VJ Edgecombe, he's here. He's not a rookie. He's not a rook. He looks like he's been here before. Looks like he played about 18 seasons and then swapped bodies with some young 20-year-old. Some freak athlete 20-year-old. Because for some reason, VJ Edgecombe has the poise of a veteran. Real Estate, it's good to see you in the chat, man. It's good to see you in the chat. VJ Edgecombe looks like he's a 10-year vet. And I said this a while ago. I said there's going to be teams that are going to be better than we thought because we thought about them based upon what they did last year. And there's a tendency to have this like recency bias where we think because what we saw in the past looked a certain way, we think that that's the way it's going to look in the future because we think that things stagnate, that everything stays the same. Shit is always changing, bro. It's always changing. So you can't rest on your laurels, especially in the NBA. And I think that's something that the Detroit Pistons are learning. You're looking at the Chicago Bulls. I think they're 4-0 right now. They just beat Atlanta. It's like that was a team that we were counting on. Oh, we're going to get them up out of here in our division. That was a team that we thought we should have under control. And I thought we should have had under control. And now all of a sudden, they're ahead of them, well ahead. It's something about the NBA that I actually love. It's just how much talent there is. And when we put teams together, when we see different talents come together and they get healthy, they get an identity, they get bought in, you can see something that you didn't expect. And as a Pistons fan, you know, we experienced that last season. Last season, we had a 14-win team coming into the 24-25 NBA season. And all of a sudden, you know, we took off after the new year and we just kind of took the league by storm. Asar Thompson's defense, Jalen Duren figuring it out, staying available, Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland, Cade Cunningham, all NBA season. It was dope. It was dope. It was one hell of a ride. But we assumed that it was going to stay that way. We assumed that it was going to be this like nonstop ascension. And it's been anything but that. It's been anything but that. Ivy got hurt again. Sasser's hurt. Guys are still figuring themselves out. Karis LeVert is hurt. Our veterans ain't really veteraning the way they used to, the way we were accustomed to being able to rely upon them. And now all of a sudden, we're right in the thick of it. We're right there with Milwaukee. We're right there with Orlando, right there with, Miami's even outplaying us right now. That's another squad that I said could be good. They look good. So when we start thinking about where we are going to measure up in terms of the Eastern Conference, get into the playoffs, when we start thinking about what it's going to look like by the end of the season, it could be rough. It can be rough. I had us at around 48 win season, but that was with Ivy healthy. This is going to be a dogfight of a season. And now we have to worry about the Philadelphia 76ers. Not the Joel Embiid MVP candidate, all-star Philadelphia 76ers. No. This is something different. This is something new. VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey are the most athletic backcourt in the NBA. And they can get absolutely anywhere they want on the court. And they play deep. And they can shoot threes. And they can get to the rim. And they can score in the mid-range. They can both create their own shot. And they seem to have chemistry already. They play off each other extremely well. You don't see VJ Edge come out there forcing it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, he looks like a 10-year pro. It helps that he played on the international team for the Olympic qualifiers. He's got his Olympic qualifier teammate, veteran Eric Gordon, who played a big role in tonight's win. They have him on the roster. They got Kelly Oubre. They got Kyle Lowry. They got all the veteran leadership and mentorship that they could want to surround Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe with. And now we have to worry about the 76ers. These are teams that we did not account for. Philly, Miami, Chicago. Wasn't nobody checking for them. We were looking at New York, Cleveland, Orlando. That's who we were checking for. Now we got to add Philly, Miami, Chicago. Don't forget about Milwaukee, who's still playing well. Don't forget about Toronto, who's finally healthy. Knock on wood, because we know injuries happen. Now, all of a sudden, it's a dogfight of a season. The quick start that we could have came out to had everything lined up, or had we just been bought in. If the Pistons had just been bought in. If they had just accepted, this is what it means to win in the NBA. You got to show up with energy. You're 21, 22, 23 years old. There's absolutely no excuse for not showing up with energy. I'm going to watch tonight's game tomorrow morning, probably tomorrow afternoon after I get off work, and I'll do a video on it. But right now, when I look at VJ Edgecombe, I got to give my Caribbean brother props. I got to give him props. He had all the confidence in the world coming out of Baylor, even though they played him out of position, didn't allow him to play with the ball in his hands as much as he probably should have. But he kept working on his game, stayed focused, stayed locked in. And then he gets to the draft process. And next thing you know, Philly's like, this is our guy. I know this Ace Bailey. This is our guy. This is our guy. And from the jump, you could see it. You could see it. You said, oh, this guy is something special. When he has spacing, when he has the NBA level spacing, and you speed up the game, the flow and the tempo up and down the court, all of a sudden now this guy is moving at a different gear. Right? There's very few athletes like Jaden Ivey. Well, VJ Edgecombe is one of them. VJ Edgecombe is one of them. I'm thinking about what does the future now hold for the Philadelphia 76ers? Because you also have to understand that when these shifts take place, it has a downhill effect, right? Joel Embiid and Paul George are no longer at the center of this franchise's outlook. Do they become available? Does Jared McCain become available? Don't forget they still have Quentin Grimes. Does Grimes become available? Are those guard options that the Detroit Pistons are going to start looking at just in case they need to make a move sooner than later? Real estate, yeah. They can finally restart the process. But these are all things that I'm like factoring in now, right? Norman Powell looks great in Miami. Looks great. How does Tyler Hero fit into that? Does he fit into that? If not, what does that mean for his availability when he comes back and he gets healthy? Right? Because the NBA never stops growing and never stops getting better. Don't forget, next year, you've got Cam Boozer, AJ DeBonsa. You have what's his name? The point guard, Brown Jr. Out of Louisville. You got what's his name? Who am I thinking of? Oh, Darren Peterson out of Kansas. You've got probably 3 or 4 number 1 pick talent, franchise changing talents in next year's draft. You see, there is no resting on your laurels in the NBA. There is none. There is none. You have to come in every single season fighting for your spot. Fighting for your spot. You've got to prove it every single year. This is why I keep saying things like certain guys have to figure it out and recognize that you don't always have to make the big play. You just have to make the simple play. You just have to be locked in. You got to be consistent. You got to be able to do the little things well. You've got to be in the right place at the right time. Because when it comes to talent, there's a lot of talent out there. And it's not always about athleticism. Sometimes it's about consistency. Sometimes it's about reliability. Sometimes it's about the guy who just knows what to do and where to be. You might have all the physical intangibles, but somebody else might beat you up here. Right? This is why the Charlotte Hornets go out and get Ryan Kalkbrenner, Liam McNeely, Con Knipple, and then the other brother from Duke, right? Because they wanted character guys. So you might have more talent. You might be able to run, jump, out quick, right? Be longer, taller positionally. And yet you may not have it in here. You may not have it up here. You may not have the focus. You may not have the IQ. And then all of a sudden your spot is gone. Your spot is gone. Just ask Cam Reddish. Where's Cam at? Anybody seen him? When you see VJ Edgecombe, when you see Dylan Harper in San Antonio, looks crazy good. Looks crazy good. He looks every bit of what we saw from him throughout high school, throughout college. He looks like a franchise changing point guard. What does that do for De'Aaron Fox when he comes back? Does he become available? Hell yes. De'Aaron Fox is 100% available. Let me be real about it. Let me be real about it. Right? What you said? Prison? You said prison? Who's in prison? I know you're talking about De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. So, anyways, when I look at VJ Edgecombe right now, he's exciting as hell. He is exciting as hell. You don't have to convince him to lock up on D. You don't. You don't have to convince him to hit the boards, weak side shot block, be locked in. You see his maturity. You see his focus. You see how steady he is. Desmond Bane was trying to get in his head, trying to be physical with him. Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black. They were all on him. They were all on him today. And yet he just rose to the occasion. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey. Oh, you said Markkinen went for 40 today? I don't think Utah is. It's going to be interesting. And I'm responding to I'll miss 36 in the chat. This is an interactive chat. Lauri Markkanen is a very expensive talent. A very, very expensive talent. I'll put it this way. If everything goes wrong, I wouldn't be shocked if the Detroit Pistons went out and got Markkanen and De'Aaron Fox. And said we're going to put veterans around them. Because what are you doing standing around waiting? The league is not waiting. The NBA is not waiting for anybody. For anybody. And that's a sense of urgency that every single player needs to have. Every single one. They got to have somebody in every locker room talking to the young guys saying, look, man, how you last in this league is you're consistent. You're reliable. Just look at Gary Harris. Gary Harris has been in the league, feels like 10, 11, 12 years now. He keeps getting re-signed. Why? Because he's consistent. He's reliable. He's in the right place. He takes the right shots. He stays within himself. You can plug him into a system. He's going to help you win, even if he's off the bench. He's mature. He's low maintenance. Right? These are things that guys have to understand because Ron Holland might be talented. Ron Holland is talented. But if he can't be consistent and reliable, if Jaden Ivey can't be consistent and reliable, if Ausar Thompson I can keep going. I could keep going on and on. Jalen Duren, if you can't be consistent and reliable, there are more big men coming into the league. I've already talked about the Portland Trailblazers with Donovan Clingan and Hanson Young. 2 7'1", 7'2", 7'6" wingspan centers who can pass, who can block shots, who can rebound, who are consistent, who are reliable. When I see these Philadelphia 76ers built around that guard rotation, Maxey, Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, you got my man Kelly Oubre out there out of Kansas who just sticks in the league because he figured out how to be consistent and reliable. And now his talents keep him in starting lineups over and over, year after year. Doesn't matter where he goes, he's too talented to keep on the bench. And even if he doesn't give you everything you want, he's just too good. Andrew Wiggins, same thing. Same type of player. Figured out how to be a professional, and they stick around. So when you see this Philadelphia 76ers team, it doesn't seem like they should be winning. And yet, when you have guys who know how to play the game, I've been talking to y'all about a Jabari Walker. I've liked him out of Portland last year. I thought that was somebody that we should have taken a look at. When I look at Adem Bona out of UCLA, I liked him last year. Great energy, big, blocking a lot of shots. Andre Drummond, right? Detroit's own, out of UConn, right? He just sticks in the league. And if you watch this game, if you watch the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Orlando Magic tonight, you saw Andre Drummond make play after play after play. It wasn't spectacular. It was just plays that help you win. Over and over and over. Blocking shots, timely rebounds, offensive glass, running the court, sprinting down the court, setting good screens, not having bad fouls, being reliable, being consistent. Shoot, even Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon has been in the league now How long has Eric Gordon been in the league? Eric Gordon, he's 36 years old. Came out of the University of Indiana. Let me see. He was drafted. See, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Because Eric Gordon came in this game and just lit their asses up. Came in, took his shots, nothing more, nothing less. Had a little travel call, driving to the rack, but it was a smart drive. It was under control. It was exactly what he was supposed to do. He got drafted in 2008. Bruh, been in the league 17 years, bro. He's been in the league 17 years. 17 years, bro. You know, for all the contributions that Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley made last season with the energy, coming in, being healthy, knocking down threes, being pretty reliable for the most part, even if they're inconsistent at times, you just knew that they were going to have more good games than bad games. But I think what they were also needing was a veteran who could really teach these young guys about what it meant to be a professional. I don't necessarily know if Malik Beasley was that guy to teach them that. Tobias Harris, yeah, sure. Maybe Paul Reed. But it's harder to be that guy when you're not necessarily playable, right? And this is when it comes to like a Kyle Lowry type, right? But sometimes you need that veteran on the bench who you know is not going to play at all, but he's there just to get into your head and to talk to you. I'm going all over the place in this live right now. But it's just something that I'm just looking at more and more. We're waiting on Jaden Ivey, and here comes VJ Edgecombe, who might already be better than Jaden Ivey, playing next to Tyrese Maxey, getting wins. They're not turning the ball over nonstop. They're making the right plays. They're making good plays, knocking down shots, staying within themselves, competing, not beating themselves. No bad fouls. I don't even think that they were in foul trouble today. Take a quick look, see. I don't think they were even in foul trouble today. Look it up real quick. Because if you watch this game, it was extremely physical. It was extremely physical. And guys were trying to come at them. Whether it was Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Desmond Bane, they were trying to knock those guys over. And I'm talking about that guard backcourt, Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. They were doing all the things that, if I'm honest with you, had they done those things to Cade, Ron Holland, one of those guys probably gets thrown out, gets technicals, gets into foul trouble, loses focus. And yet those two just stay locked in. They just make more plays. The Philadelphia 76ers are a team that we're going to have to worry about. That's the squad that we're going to have to worry about. I know we want to think that we are where we ended last season. That's not where we're at. That is not where we're at. The Detroit Pistons are not where they ended last season. They're where they are this season. That's where you are. 2-2. 2-2. You've beat some really good teams. You've lost to some really good teams, apparently. Apparently, Chicago is better than what we thought. How do we know? Because they keep beating teams. Because they keep being reliable and consistent. Even if they don't have the most talented player, even if they don't have the best player on the court, they seem to keep figuring out ways to get it done. between Modest Buzelis, Josh Giddey, Trey Jones is out there even, Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro. These guys are just figuring out how to get it done. And that's what teams have to get to for us to take you seriously. Can you stop beating yourself? Can you do the things that it takes to win games? The Philadelphia 76ers are showing you right now they know exactly what it takes to win games. They got the leadership in Tyrese Maxey. They got the talent in VJ Edgecombe. They've got the veterans that are still in their prime, Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes. You got young, hungry, tough, physical, hard-nosed guys that are going to fight between Adem Bona, a Jabari Walker. These guys just fought the whole game. And they still don't have Jared McCain back. They still don't have Paul George back. Joel Embiid, he's going to be on management all season long. But even he seemed to be waking up. Even he seemed to be like, whoa, they about to make everybody forget about me. You know, it was funny because as the game was going on, there was a play. I think Tyrese Maxey made the play. It was either Tyrese Maxey or VJ Edgecombe. And everybody is excited. They're getting up, high-fiving, you know, smiles. They're amped. And then I see Paul George. He's standing up at the back of the bench, and he's no smile, no excitement, no energy. Joel Embiid is similar. It's similar. The league, the game has passed them by. Their moment has come and it's gone. And right now they're hanging on for dear life. The Philadelphia 76ers are realizing they don't need them. They don't need them. The conversations around this team is already, how do we build around Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe? How do we get the right guys around them? Who's going to be our small forward of the future? Who could be that Swiss Army knife? Fill in around Maxey and Edgecombe. They're already talking about that. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I was never as big of a Joel Embiid fan as ESPN was pushing. I saw him and I said, somebody, he lacks this. He lacks this. He doesn't really want it like that. He doesn't really want, and you saw in big moments, he gets small, he shrinks. That's why his stats always drop in the playoffs. That's why he never really wanted all that smoke against Nikola Jokic, right? Like, he should have been chomping at the bit. He should have been salivating over an opportunity to go against Nikola Jokic. He could have been like, look, y'all, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to dominate him. He's going to have to see me on defense, and then he's going to have to see me on offense. He can't hang with. He should have been trying to prove that every single year everyone was talking about Jokic. And you can tell that Embiid did not want the smoke. He didn't have that date circled at all. If anything, he might have had the date circled and said, I'm going to have some soreness on that day. So this transition has been a long time coming in my eyes. Philadelphia 76ers, luck out. They don't have to go through a process anymore. Their guys are already here. And we're going to have to worry about them all season long, especially when Jared McCain comes back. Because then you're going to have Jared McCain and Quentin Grimes off the bench. And then you begin to see Justin Edwards, begin to see Jabari Walker, of course, Kelly Oubre. You begin to see just how deep this team is. You begin to see just how much talent that they have. And after a while, if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if we see them in the play-in. I wouldn't be shocked at all. And I think that would shock a lot of NBA fans if you talk to them over the summer. There was zero expectations for the Philadelphia 76ers. And now they're here. What are they? 3-1 now? 3-0. And the Magic are 1-3. Look, I'm not saying this start is everything, but it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. That's for sure. Let me get to some of these chats, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Let me see. I'll miss 36. If I'm being honest, I think the Pistons made a mistake by not being more aggressive. What's going to happen if we only win 30 to 35 games? We can kiss that confidence goodbye. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll miss 36. The Detroit Pistons are not going to wait on these guys. They have until December to prove it. They got one more month of November to prove it. By December, Trajan Langdon in the front office will know who's what. Who's what. By January, moves will be made if guys have not proven themselves. They are not waiting. They are not waiting. Can you imagine this squad if they had De'Aaron Fox and Lauri Markkanen around Cade? Isaiah Stewart next to Markkanen with Asar Thompson on a rookie deal? And then some shooters, defenders, Javonte Green, Paul Reed, Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, guys like that. Could you imagine? That's a 50-win team. That's a 50 to 55 win team that might be looking at a title run. That's right there, bro. That's right there. It is so feasible. You got other young guys like Jared McCain, Jonathan Kuminga. You got guys who have so much talent who are just in there. The league has never been more talented. There is zero reason, zero, for the Detroit Pistons to wait past the trade deadline for anybody who has not shown that they deserve to be on this ride to a championship with Cade. Zero. Zero reason. Right now, these guys knew this season was put up or shut up. Prove it. If these guys on the Pistons ain't proving it, what are they going to do? Sit around and wait to get another high lottery pick? And then now they got to figure out how to overcome Philadelphia, Miami, who's only going to get better with Kel'el Ware now next to Bam Adebayo. Davion Mitchell now looking like a little Chris Paul, getting double-digit assists and playing defense as the point of attack defender. You still got Orlando, who I've been saying Orlando's got to get rid of Jalen Suggs. They just do. They just do. Jalen Suggs doesn't fit that team. He just doesn't. Desmond Bane is a better shooting guard. Anthony Black is a better facilitator. He's less injury prone. I know injuries happen. But they just pay Jalen Suggs all that money. They can move on from him. Get themselves a stretch center. That's how cold the league is. That's how real it is right now. There is so much talent. You can't rest on nothing. You cannot rest on nothing. Get to these last chats. Let me see. Dwayne Pritchett, what's good, man? The Cleveland Cavaliers showed us how to play intelligent, mistake-free ball, high IQ basketball. We just assumed our young players are going to get better. Forget the tough stuff. Get smart. Man, I've been saying that, bro. Been saying that. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I did a video this morning before I left for work. I said they can't beat themselves. They can't beat themselves. Detroit cannot beat themselves if they want to have a chance to beat the Cavs tonight. Apparently they did. 25 turnovers. You beat yourself. But the reality is we got nothing but these young point guards. These young guards. These young players There's just too many young guys. This is why I've said it over and over before. Young teams don't win in the NBA. They don't. They don't. They don't. It is rare to find an Oklahoma City Thunder. But even the Oklahoma City Thunder team got real mature when it was time to win. They went out and grabbed Isaiah Hartenstein. Went out and grabbed Alex Caruso at 31 years old. And they insulated themselves with these vets who just knew what to do and where to be. The Detroit Pistons are going to have to figure it out quick. They got one more month. Next week is the month of November. It's flying by so fast. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast this year is flying by. But they got the month of November to prove it. You got to prove it. When Ivy gets back, 100% healthy, God willing, comes out there, do your thing. But more than anything, be consistent. Be reliable. Don't focus on being spectacular. Be consistent. Be reliable. Because the flash in the pan, that's for people like Charlotte. They get excited about a flash. Ooh, 30-point triple-double by LaMelo. Still can't get out of the play-in. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? When it comes to winning championships, it ain't about flash. It's about substance. It's about what can you do for me night in and night out. And in the playoffs, step up and do it even more. Last comment. Best Cave Cunningham's problem. Pace itself. The Pistons' whole young squad is low IQ. Same mistakes, out of position, arguing with the referees about. Yeah. The arguing has to stop. Arguing with the referees has to stop. Ron Holland, Jalen Duren, even Asar Thompson. You've done nothing in this league to warrant the benefit of the doubt. You've done nothing. Nothing in this league. You've done nothing. Oh, Big Mac 2083 feels 2 times as bad today being a Pistons and Raptors fan. Damn. But I would have to say, like, the Raptors, I feel like you guys are just figuring it out. I feel like you guys are figuring out who you are. You didn't have Brandon Ingram all last year, right? He was there, but he didn't play. R.J. Barrett was hurt. Manuel Quickley's always been hurt. Scotty Barnes was hurt. He had so many injuries. Like you didn't know what you had. I think the only thing that I really knock y'all for is not doubling down on Masai Ujiri and drafting Kamen Malawach. Even Colin Murray Bowles had a good game. It's just a glut at that forward position. Kamen Malawach would have been perfect for y'all. Perfect behind Jakob. Now, I like the other Cameroonian big man that y'all drafted about a year or so ago. I like him a lot also. Really athletic, really agile, good hands, defensive minded, athletic, explosive, good footwork. But Kamen Malawach would have been perfect for y'all. I thought that was a huge missed opportunity. But I like Jamal Shed as well off the bench. Ochai Baji, Jacoby Walter. I like him as well. You guys just have a lot of good pieces. I think you guys are going to figure it out. You guys are going to figure it out. The Pistons, on the other hand, you can only say the same thing so many times. You can only say the same thing so many times. Eventually, you just stop saying it. Eventually, you just sit back and you go, okay, this is who you are. I can't get mad at the turnovers anymore. JB's job is to compete, to win. That's it. That is JB Bickerstaff's 100% focus, is to win. And the guys that are on the Pistons who are able to be a part of winning are going to be a part of winning. And then Trajan Langdon has to sit back and evaluate. Is the learning curve too steep? Is the runway going to have to be too long to get the return that they need to surround Cade with winners? Because if De'Aaron Fox comes back healthy anytime soon, and he puts together a solid month or two, I'm not mad at all going after Dylan Harper for just about anybody on this roster outside of Cade. And if I'm honest, I don't even know if y'all want to hear this. Dylan Harper might be just as good as Cade. Dylan Harper might be just as good as Cade Cunningham. 6'6" and change. About a 6'10" wingspan. Handle. Can shoot it. Score at all three levels. Get to the rim at will. He reminds me of James Harden a lot. A lot. Coming out of Arizona State. Just his game style. Dylan Harper might be just as good. So what does that mean for a team like the Detroit Pistons? It means that they better get their shit together. Quick. Quick, bro. Quick. Because the league is going to keep coming. These guys are going to keep getting better. You see Wemby. You see Wemby ascending. Now with Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, and De'Aaron Fox there, they are incredibly talented. The Pistons better put up or shut up quick. I don't see no arguing with the refs. Move your feet. I don't want no more complaining. Be in the right spot. Have some security with the ball in your hands. Because if they don't, it's time to go. They got one more month. Duran, you got one more month. You got one more month to prove it. If you can't turn a corner for this season, next month, it's time to go. And that might mean Ivy too. It'd be unfortunate, but it just might. Y'all got to prove it night in and night out, because that's what it means to be in the NBA. That's what it means to be in the NBA. You got to be great night in and night out. Otherwise, you're just another role player. Hey, but as always, it's your man 100 Grand Ross, where the rock never stops. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe. Share it with your friends and family. Let me just say this. I always like to leave y'all with something. Get some sleep, y'all. I need some sleep, but get sleep. The human body needs 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Don't let nobody fool you going off of 4 and 6 hours. That shit is for the birds. It doesn't let your body recover. It doesn't let your mind recover to be sharp the next day. Get sleep. And if you struggle to get sleep, take steps to improve your routine getting to bed. Be consistent with yourself, because getting sleep is probably the greatest form of self-care. Remember, this is your life. Live it to the fullest. Love and laugh as much as possible, and get some damn sleep. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I'm going to watch the Detroit Pistons versus the Cavs game. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I'm going to get at y'all then. Peace.